Hi guys, it's April and this is my reading rush wrap up. So for those of you who weren't quite paying attention, last week was the reading rush. I managed to read 7 books, 208 pages, and complete all of the challenges, and this is just a wrap up of all the things that I read. Now, I did do a few of the video challenges and the Instagram challenges. I will link them down below and up above in case you are interested in checking those out. I also have a couple of vlogs up that covers the whole week. Also will link those as well. I will have it noted that I was sick most of that week, and I'm still kind of recovering, though I do feel like I'm doing a little bit better. I just have whatever is sitting on my chest, and it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but I am getting there and I'm okay with that. I am really excited on how last week went, minus the whole getting sick and that crud, but last week reading wise was really good for me. I didn't think I was going to be able to do as good as I did. Maybe it is because I was sick a couple of those days, and so I got a lot more reading in than I thought I was going to, which is great. I initially only had a TBR of 5 books, but I did manage to get that 7 book mark. So I'm excited about that, and I will just zip my mouth and actually talk about my reads. The first 2 reads I want to talk about together are Fuku Kitten Tales, both 1 and 2. This is a manga collection about a lady who's reminiscing about when her cat was a kitten, and it is the sweetest little thing ever. I think I loved it so much just because I am a cat mom, and so I remember a lot of those kitten moments, and it's just the cutest thing. And plus, I was dying at this point when I finally picked these up because I couldn't mentally handle anything else, and so it was perfect for that. And these 2 covered both my non-human read and also reading in one spot. I then picked up A Dog's Journey by W. Bruce Cameron. This is book 2 in A Dog's Purpose series. I don't know what you can really call it. It's a duology, but it continues on in the dog's story after Ethan and going on to Ethan's granddaughter, which I thought was really cute. It was adorable. There was, of course, really touching moments that I liked, and then really touching moments that broke me, as per most dog books. I just liked the voice that was given to this dog. I like it a lot. Now, this was supposed to be my book to movie adaptation, but the movie doesn't actually get released to the masses until August something, so I couldn't actually watch this movie. So instead, I watched A Dog's Purpose because I haven't ever seen that. I've read the book, but I've never seen the movie, and I was trying to understand because the previews for this movie didn't quite match up to the end of where A Dog's Purpose, the book, goes. So I wanted to see how all of that went. So I managed to mush that together to make that my book to movie adaptation. I know it's cheating, but I still count it. So yes, that's the thing. I then read Legend Undone. This was my author's first book challenge filler thing because this is the first story that this author has put out. I was given this book as a arc to read because it is being released August 2nd. This is a story about legends who are superhuman and are trying to find where they fit in with society. Some of them want to be superior to humans, some of them just want to live hidden under the radar. It has a very vampire-esque vibe. I was very intrigued by the plot of this, but going through it and reading it, the more I read it, the less excited about it I got. I have a full review over it in case you are interested in what my thoughts were on all of that, so I will link that up above and down below, as per everything that I always link. Overall, it was a okay read, but not something I'm overly excited about. I finally got around to Unbreakable by Sara. This is book 3. I almost put up 2 fingers. It's book 3 of the Unblemished series. How do I talk about this book without spoiling the rest of this book? The whole premise of the series is very once upon a time, meets a lot of fairy tale retellings, meets this very whimsical nature, meets a slight Christian undertone. I was really excited about this series because Sara was one of those first people that I started becoming friends with on BookTube, so I've followed this whole series as it's gone on. It just took me forever to actually get to this book, and it did continue in Sara very whimsical storytelling and all of the pop culture references and singing and songs and all of that beautiful nature. But I didn't quite grasp onto this one as much as I did, say, the first book. Problem was, in this one, we had a lot of shifting between characters and a lot of internal dialogue going on and not a lot of moving of what everything was happening, and I just wasn't very excited about it. And then the way it ended was a thing all in its own. I have a full review over this and the whole series. I will link that in case you are interested in diving into this. And this book, of course, covers purple on the cover. And last but not least, I picked up Touch by Clair North. This was a sneak and read because I have a book club that I needed to read it for, and I, for some reason, forgot that I actually needed to put time in to actually read it. This is a story of an entity that has the ability to jump from person to person and kind of just take over their life. The body that this entity is inhabiting is murdered one day, and this entity is just on a mission to figure out what the frick is going on. I wanted to like this book. There's a lot of mystery involved in all of this, but at the same time, I found it going into a very typical place. Never really even liked the entity very much. There were moments where I'm like, it's having a deep and profound thought. That's amazing. And then there was other characters which they're pitted against each other. I don't even know how to explain this without getting into the nitty-gritty of everything. I felt like there was too many words for what needed to be done, and then there was a lot of these very fast-paced action scenes followed by this like long-winded flashback of, yeah, you're giving me more of the character, but honestly at this point I don't care. So that is where I'm left with that, where it was something that is probably very interesting. I might not have picked it up at the right time, and I just ultimately did not really care. So those are all the books that I read for the reading rush. I am so proud of myself. I got all those little fancy little badges. Something about wanting to collect them all just pushed me in a direction that I wasn't planning on going for this readathon, but once that whole website got introduced, I had to, like, do that. And of course, I have the little chart thingy that, shows you all of the pages that you read per day. As you can see, I went really, really well that first day, and then I got sick. And it just kind of does its thing. But I completed everything. I read 2,000 pages. I count that as a win. Tell me down below how you did for the reading rush, if you participated, or if you have read any of these books, what your thoughts are, and I heard your beautiful faces.